This video is the fourth in a series about traveling for the 55 plus crowd. If you already know why and where you want to travel, how will you get there and back? And also, how will you get around when you're there? Getting to and from your destination depends a lot on where you're going. A trip within 200 miles of your home probably means driving a personal vehicle or taking a bus or train. Longer distances mean air travel dominates, or perhaps you'll travel on the water. How about driving yourself? For many travelers, driving a personal vehicle usually provides the lowest cost and most flexibility. Also, this method allows you to go door to door as compared to other transport options. For some, the downside of using a personal vehicle is long hours of driving. Yet for others, experiencing the romance of the road during a lengthy road trip is sheer bliss. Should you drive your own vehicle? Why not rent a car and save wear and tear in your personal ride? Most car rental companies offer unlimited mileage and one-way rentals. Sometimes these features are at a higher cost, so it pays to dig into the details when researching alternatives. Speaking of driving yourself, the explosion of interest in recreational vehicles during the COVID-19 pandemic surprised everyone, including manufacturers. High RV demand from 2020 to 2022 led to high prices, long waiting lists, and scarcity of used RVs. Since then, demand has slackened, and many new RV owners found life on the road isn't a long-term passion. As a result, there are deals to be had in the RV market. The growing phenomenon of age-restricted RV parks is of particular interest to older RV travelers. Usually limited to travelers 55 or over, these parks appeal to those who prefer to avoid the noise and chaos of children running around the campground. In addition, these facilities often feature amenities or activities tailored to older adults like golf, tennis, pickleball, bingo nights, hobby, workshops, arts and crafts, and card or game meetings. Well, you could also take the bus or train, and that travel mode in the U.S. was popular a long time ago, but not any longer. The U.S. Bureau of Transportation Statistics reports that about 90% of pleasure travel over 50 miles from home is by personal vehicle. The other options are 7% for air, 2% for bus, and 1% for train. As distances increase, however, air travel dominates. Well, what about air travel? Traveling by air is the standard for longer trips, but many travelers stayed home during the pandemic. Now air travel is rebounding, with domestic U.S. miles traveled up 34% from March 2022 to March 2023, despite an 18% increase in ticket prices in the same period. The higher prices were attributed to staff shortages and increased fuel costs. Staffing shortages and other factors have also impacted airline service quality. As a result, customer satisfaction was down in 2022, according to the annual J.D. Power Airline Satisfaction Survey. An example of the frustration endured by travelers was in April 2023 when Southwest Airlines delayed 1,820 flights due to a software problem. So, what are air travelers looking for? Expedia surveyed 11,000 consumers and their preferences, and the top 7 were low prices, full refunds for cancellations, enhanced cleaning and disinfecting, no reservation change penalties, first-class benefits and upgrades, contactless experience, and environmentally friendly policies. Clearly, a desire to save money rings loud and clear. The message to the airline industry is to focus on affordability. On the flip side, consumers who want to save money should book early, consider flexible travel dates and destinations, and look for perks like air miles benefits from using credit cards. How about traveling on the water? Cruises are as popular as ever now that pandemic fears have eased. Even so, cruise lines have committed themselves to higher cleansing and disinfection standards to reduce the risk of disease and outbreaks. Some cruise lines even offer a ship within a ship accommodations for an extra fee. These are self-contained areas accessible only to passengers who book these special arrangements. This way, those who are squeamish about potential disease exposure can limit contact to just those in the exclusive area. River cruises originated in Europe in the mid-1960s as a unique way to visit cities previously only visited by land. Today, river cruises are a global phenomenon and still growing. One example Mekong River cruises in Southeast Asia, and another example of Nile cruises in Egypt are in high demand. In Europe, cruises that visit Christmas markets in various river cities are also very popular. Although river cruise operators have faced challenges from low water levels and political unrest in certain areas, this travel option is forecasted to continue strong growth over the next 10 years and beyond. Well, how about getting around once you're there? Most travel planning concentrates on getting to and from your destination, but travel planning for the time you spend at your destination can help elevate your experience. Of course, if you are driving a personal vehicle, there's no issue with getting around unless you're driving an RV with a no tow behind vehicle. In most other cases, however, thinking through your local transportation needs can help make your stay more enjoyable. Here are some transportation alternatives. You can rent a car. A rental car is one of the most common means for getting around at your destination. This provides the greatest flexibility since you can come and go as you please. However, if your daily transportation needs are sparse, it might only pay to have a car sometimes. In those cases, you may need to rent a car only when needed. Now, this is where hourly renting or car sharing comes in. Hourly renting is offered by companies like Zipcar, which maintains a fleet of vehicles that can be reserved via an app. The renter picks up the car in a designated spot, only pays for the time they use it, and returns it to the same spot. Car sharing is like an Airbnb for vehicles, of which Turo is one of the best examples. Individuals or companies offer vehicles that renters can reserve through the car sharing platform. Well, of course, there's also taxis and ride sharing. Depending on availability in the area, cars for hire can be an easy way to get around. This can be a problem in more rural areas where services like taxis and Uber might be limited. And then there's public transportation. For many travelers, using public transportation in an unfamiliar location incites dread due to perceived language barriers or lack of understanding about how the system works. But smartphone technology can often alleviate these fears by using the map features that spell out how to get from point A to point B using the local public transportation. Finally, walking or biking. Depending on where you're staying, human-powered travel like walking or biking is a great way to get around at your destination. It can also be the best way to see the sights. When booking overnight accommodations, consider the walkability of the area you want to visit. That way, you can limit the need for other means of transport. No matter why or where you're traveling, you'll have a much better experience if you carefully plan how you'll get there and how you'll get around once you're there. In the rest of this video series, we'll cover more things to think about as you plan your next travel adventure.